Good morning. Do you have abundance in your life? Do you feel that abundance is a part of your life? It's interesting to me the way that we think about that word and what it might mean. It's really a powerful word, and we're going to talk about it today with my guest on Nurturing Big Ideas today. I am Yvonne DiVita. I would like to welcome Kim Porter, and she is a business and life coach, and she helps women overcome their limiting beliefs so they can live a more fulfilling and purpose-driven life, which I think includes learning about abundance. Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You know, when you told me about the word abundance, I really felt strongly that that was something my listeners and my viewers and the people that I connect with could learn more about, because it's such a powerful word. How did you decide that was your word, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I think every year I try to have a word, and abundance was really about, I have been through burnout. I have burnt myself out before, and just really working so hard. And so I wanted to just kind of sit in the blessings that I have already and not stress and not push myself too hard, and just live each day knowing that I have so much and that I've been so not, and it's like blessed. It's like, I've worked hard for what it is, but I'm also really blessed. So
I think that that's important for all of us to think about on a daily basis. I do that myself because I learned from another wonderful coach that I worked with way back when that abundance is something that we all have in our lives if we look around and think about it. When
yes.
you and I talked before the show, I saw the abundance in your life as part of your vitality and your focus on living that fuller life you want to teach the people that you work with to live, right?
Yes. Right, exactly. Yes.
And abundance
it is a mindset. It's a mindset that we have to train ourselves for. And I just realized I was looking at this little box, and I just moved you up, so now I can look at you and not the little box that you were in. Technology.
Well, so abundance is not just, okay, I have a nice computer with a monitor. I have a nice home. I have, I'm going to go out and have lunch today. Abundance is much, much bigger than that. Can you talk about that?
And yes, it's totally a mindset. It's, there was times when I would wake up in the morning. We have 3 children ranging from age 14, and then we'll have a 3-year-old this Sunday. And, I would wake up and be like, oh, I got to make lunch. I have so much to do. It's just so hard, or I'm so stressed. And so I've actually had to switch my mindset. And purposely, when my feet hit the floor, what am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? What are these things? Like, yes, I have to make them lunch. And, doing that, all school year can get a little old, but I'm so grateful that I can do that for them and that I'm there for them. And so it was just a mindset switch for me to focus on the things that I have been, sometimes it can feel stressful because we have so much going on, but how lucky am I that I have all of this going on?
And that's abundance. I agree. It's a hard concept for some women to understand, but when you break it down the way you have and let us look at the different pieces of it, we begin to understand how abundant our life is. And then do you believe, as many people do, that when you feel that way and believe that you also attract abundance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. that is part of the more abundant that you feel and the more positive that you feel about your life, the more that things are attracted to you. And I used an idea the other day in my coaching session. I said, when you rise, everyone else rises with you. It's like the tide. Like, you can't help but rise. Everyone else around you, when you're feeling positive and happy, everything else will rise. Your relationships, your work life, everything.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm glad that you brought that particular word up. So I also know that we talked a little bit about the word clarity. And when you work with clients, you say you like to help them bring clarity. Is it clarity to their business, to their life, to both? Tell us how clarity works with abundance.
So I think with clarity, it's one of those where I felt the whispers in my business as a beauty industry. And for 18 years, I've started to hear the whispers of what I should be doing something else. I need to be doing something else. And I felt like a higher purpose was calling me forward, but I didn't understand what it was. I didn't understand what it looked like. I just knew that to follow the whispers, where I feel like most people hear those whispers and choose to ignore them because they don't understand what they really mean. They just feel like, I know I felt this way, like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So why would I do that? And so when I started to get more clarity and I allowed myself to really just be pulled in the direction, I say like stepping stones, and each stepping stone, the path becomes a little bit brighter and it becomes a little bit more clear. And so I want to help women take those steps so that they can understand that path will get clearer for them. And so I help them with the clarity for that.
Wow, that's really fantastic. I love that you said whispers. I love that there is that element of the whispers. To me, they're kind of the voices in our head a little bit. And
yes.
Sometimes we let the voices in our head clutter us up because we're thinking too much about what to make for lunch, or did I forget to send something with the kids to school or whatever. And if we can take the time, do you recommend like a few minutes every day to close your eyes maybe, or meditate or something, so that the right whispers, the whispers that you're trying to get through that you're talking about, we get them through?
Yes, absolutely. And I actually posted something the other day on my personal page where I feel like most of us have anxiety from getting stressed out about all of the things. And so I suggest doing a mind dump of all of the things. A lot of times mine is like 4 o'clock in the morning of all the things that I have to do. And so just dumping it out on a piece of paper or in my phone notes, and then I can feel lighter. I can feel like everything's written down. And then we can go through our day and wake up. And if you have time to meditate, that's great. Even if it's in the car, I will shut the music off. I will sit in silence after I drop my littlest off at preschool and just listen to myself as much as possible, because the to-do list and all the things in our head really can, like you said, it can cloud our judgment. It can cloud our ability to hear our inner self. And so journaling, meditating, but it doesn't have to be meditating on a mat, for 2 hours or, whatever. It really is just 5 or 10 minutes a day of listening. We fill ourselves with so much information, and there's noise. There's so much noise. And so when we're able to quiet, we're able to actually hear ourselves.
That's so interesting. I read an article just this week where the question that attracted me was, if you had something about a client that had $100,000 and a client that only had $10, and which one would you choose? And in the end, what the story was about was, look at your day. That $10 is comprised of how many pennies and whatever, and how powerful is it. And when you give that away in your day, you're giving away maybe an hour or 2 by not giving it the attention it deserves. I'm not explaining it as well as I could, but the point being that we each have the same 24 hours.
Yes, even Beyonce. We all have the same 24 hours.
And so you can teach us how to have more clarity in that 24 hours. And, I want to make sure we talk a little bit about the fact that women especially have this too much abundance of I don't want to say the wrong things, but the things that lead us astray, as you said earlier. Yes. And by practicing whatever clarity you can help us get, can focus us so those whispers will take us where the universe wants us to go. I really believe that the universe wants us all to be happy and successful. Yes?
Absolutely. I mean, we were born happy and free feeling, and we were born like adventurous, and then little by little, the world or our environment tells us, get a job, go to work, come home, watch TV, drink a couple glasses of wine, and then get up and do it all again. And maybe you get one vacation a year. It is so constricting on our creativity and our fun and adventure. And so I have actively trying to say, like, what can we do that's fun? Sometimes I'll even wake up and go, how can I have more fun today? And sometimes when I'm making lunch, that means turn the music on and dance in the kitchen. It's like, how
So,
can I have fun?
tell us a little bit about your story, because you have one of the most fascinating stories, and I think it's very relevant to my audience. I want the women to hear your story because it's pretty powerful. I found it pretty powerful. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, thank you. So 18 years in the beauty industry. About 2015, I really took my business. I went from 6 weddings in 2012 to 50 weddings in 2015. I had magazines publishing my work. I was working with high profile clients. It really was my dream. But I ended up working myself to the ground, got burnt out, and then found out we were expecting our 3rd bonus baby. And so I kind of had a fork in the road, and I could have made my makeup artistry business bigger, or I kept getting these whispers of, you're supposed to be doing something else. There's something else that you need to be doing that's bigger than what it is that you're doing. And I started to feel like makeup was a mask that we were putting on to hide our pain or unhappiness. And so I started following the whispers a little bit, but then I let myself get to that proverbial fork in the road, and I chose to make my makeup artistry business bigger. 4-station beauty bar, we're going to book 150 weddings a year. And of course, I was miserable because I wasn't listening to my inner self. And so I was in a position of, financially, I was depressed. I was just really miserable and unhappy. And I started to listen more to what I really wanted and what I needed. And that was real conversations with real women about our real issues. And so little by little, that's what I've been doing. And so, I knew in 2015, that's what I wanted to do, but really about 2017 is when I started to pursue it more. And so now I coach women on how to get that that clarity so they don't get to that fork in the road and choose the wrong path, because it seems to make more sense and it's more comfortable.
Oh man, that is so powerful right there, getting to that fork in the road and having you help them, because it's hard when that happens, isn't it? I mean, it's hard when
Absolutely.
you're looking at that. Well, this is the road that's going to maybe put a few extra bucks in my pocket. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I should probably do that. And the whispers in the back of my head are my mother saying, you can't make any money doing what that other way. So you better go there and do that. And
Yes.
yet the reality is, no, maybe you take the other road, because the more passionate and happy you are, to your point, the more abundant you'll be.
Absolutely. And I chose the road that seemed to make more sense. It was like, well, of course I'll make my makeup artistry business bigger, but it's not where I was being pulled. Really, it's not what I wanted to do. And so I think we need to understand that it doesn't always make sense. The path is not always clear. And sometimes we just kind of have to do that jump, and, the net will follow or something. But it's a painful experience. A lot of us don't understand this hero's journey of going through the difficult times so that you can get to that other side.
That's pretty big, hero's journey. Many women don't, and they don't need to go and study the hero's journey. They need to talk to someone like you. And the wonderful thing is, you've been there. It isn't that you made this up, or that you didn't just read a book and say, oh, I think that's what I'll do. You actually were there, you experienced it, you had that fork in the road. So how did your family, because you had a family and you had this new bonus baby, congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
I know the baby's 3 years old now?
She will be 3 on Sunday, yes.
Awesome. But that's a big load right there. That's a lot of wonderful abundance, but it also is, gosh, what do I do? How did you struggle through that? I'm going to go do this now.
I think it was really difficult in that time when I had the big beauty bar, because I had been home with my other 2 older kids. And so I was really struggling with, I need to be in my business because, I have all this retail square footage. But then I also wanted to be home with her. And so I struggled with that immensely. And it took a long time. Once I started to listen to my inner self, everything just started to work out. I was able to find a smaller studio, which is where I am now, in my little studio. And so I'm able to, it just, you know, it was a difficult time and I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but going through it just made me more empathetic. It made me understand things that I didn't understand about struggling to find who we are. And then everything just fell into place. You know, it's like this perfect situation where I have this wonderful interview with you now, and then I'm leaving to go do makeup for a commercial shoot right after this. So it's like blending both of my worlds together. It really is pretty amazing how it's worked.
Yeah, I think that is, and I think women especially listening can learn from it, from the sense of you're a young woman, younger than me, and you have children. I think that's very important. So it isn't like, for myself, I'm retired. I've got nobody holding me. I don't have to be home for well, I have to be home for grandchildren, but that's my choice. That's my choice. So, I mean, this is really fantastic, because so many women are in the same spot you were in, and don't know what to do, and they want that guidance. So how do they find you? I mean, you're out there, by the way. I remember the video I watched of you and Amy. I really enjoyed that, and I hope you're going to do more, because it just helps. It helps to see real women experiencing kind of the same thing, and gosh, you did it, and you came out as a whole person on the other end.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I really, the point of like the coaching is to help women so they don't have to struggle as hard as I did. They don't have to feel alone and that emptiness. And, you know, I think that's the whole point of what I went through, was so that I could share it and help other people so they don't have to go through it like I went through it. Because we are being guided every single day, that we are being guided to our higher selves. And I just didn't want to be put in a box. I didn't want to be known for just one thing. I'm a creative person at heart. So when I followed it, things just started to open up. And I think that's the key, is when you actually just listen and follow without knowing what it's going to look like, things just start to work out.
And so what kind of women do you work with? I know that for myself, I'm actually attracting some younger women, which is a surprise to me. But women in general, I feel, are very creative. And so I hope someday I can attend one of your events where you and Amy do, which you're not that far from me in Virginia. But tell me a little bit about the perfect ideal client for you.
Yeah. Well, the women that I'm attracting are business owners. They own their own businesses, or they want to start their own businesses, but they're also going through their own transitions. They're trying to find themselves. A lot of them are mothers. And so they're trying to find, you know, there's some that are new mothers, and they're trying to figure out their way as a new mother. And then I have some that are older, not older, but they have older children. And so they're trying to figure out who they are now, because we've done the wife, the mother, we've done all the things, we wore the hats, and now who are we now? And so if there's some are just in different places in their lives, but all of it is, how do I listen to myself? How do I know what I really want in my life? And what are the steps that I need to take to get there? And so that's what I help guide them through.
That's really awesome. And so when you say they're women in business, I like working with women in any business, but I, at this moment, prefer like women who use their hands to make things. What kind of businesses? And the reason I'm asking this, everyone, is because there are so many ways a woman can be in business. And it doesn't just have to be, I make doilies and I sell them at a craft fair, which is wonderful in itself. I like doilies. But the point being that the universe has all these opportunities for us and all these different kinds of businesses. What kind of businesses are you seeing? I'm just kind of curious about this.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of different, so I'm going to try to think of like what. So I'm a licensed therapist. So a licensed therapist needed coaching. And so that was an interesting thing to see, to help her kind of find the next step, because therapists can kind of box themselves in and get burnt out with the day-to-day, booking themselves too much. And so I'm helping her scale her business. I have another client who runs $1 million business, and she's a new mom, and she's trying to figure out how she can kind of navigate all of this and feel more confident about herself, because as a new mom, she doesn't feel as confident as she used to. I have another one who went through a traumatic experience and wants to be a speaker and an educator and an advocate for other people so that they don't have to go through the same thing. So it's just kind of like, it's a little bit all over the place. But the thread of everyone is they're trying to find themselves, and they want that next level version of themselves. And so that's it.
I like that. The next level version of themselves. And it's clear, we talk about reinvention over at Nurturing Big Ideas a lot. It's clear to me that we reinvent ourselves all our lives. So at one point, as you said, you're a young mother, and so you're reinventing yourself from not being a mother, and then you reinvent yourself when your kids are older and you want to find yourself, or in between there. But would you agree that there's a sort of reinvention going on, and that the better we can understand that, the better?
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the things they can come to you for, because there is a need for clarity on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think life coaching is so misunderstood. It's, I don't just sit around and like, let's talk about your feelings. It is like, what do you want? Let's help you get clarity, and I'm going to help you get there. And here's the steps that you need to get to where you want to go. And I help them feel more abundant. I help them feel happier. A lot of mothers feel stuck, and they get stressed out by everything that's going on. And so I want to help them understand that it's a mindset, that positivity is a mindset that we can, incorporate at any stage. So
I like that, and I'm glad you brought that up, that it's so misunderstood, because I agree. I think what you're doing is certainly more than just the way we envision, oh, I'm going to a therapist and I'm going to sit there and talk about myself. That is not what life coaching is about. It's actually about the person's life and all the facets of their life. And why not work with someone who's already been there, folks? Why not talk to Kim Porter and have her help you get clarity around who you want to be and what you want to do? So Kim, this has been a really illuminating talk today, and I'm going to make sure that I share all the links for people to get in touch with you if they want to, and perhaps we can have you back again sometime. Excuse me. I actually would love to have you and Amy on together, but we can talk about that. Right now, I want to thank you for being on Smart Conversation. And I want to say, go out and have that appointment today. I know it's going to be wonderful. And I hope people will tune in and connect with Kim, because I'm so impressed. I'm just so impressed.
It's been so much fun talking with you. Thank you so much for having me on.